Hello and welcome to USTS, the Ultimate Sports Training Show. I'll be your host for today's show, Bob Lemire. And joining me back on the show, second time, I think it was 6 months ago, 5, 6 months ago, Mr. Steve LeBranch. Welcome, Steve.
Thanks, Bob. Thanks for having me again.
Pleasure to have you. As I mentioned with Steve last time, I could do 1,000 shows with him. Steve's into a million things, and things I've never even heard of. We just talked about a couple of them right before the show. Never even heard of it, and he says a lot of people haven't. So I have a list of stuff that he does and he's accomplished, and it'd take up half the show. So I'm going to let you just give us an idea of what you've been up to, what you do, from the last show, just a quick, and then what you've been up to in that last 5 months, Steve.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm a Reiki master teacher. I've been doing energy work hardcore for about 8-9 years, but I've been doing personal growth work for probably 20 plus years. So I'm a Reiki master teacher. I'm a Belvespata Grandmaster, which is kind of like Reiki on steroids. It's angelic healing of the heart. I've received the 9 Munai Ki rites, which are Peruvian shamanic rites that were shared with the world in the last 10 years or so. I'm in the process of learning something called the illumination process, which is like a deep chakra clearing, energetic clearing, and all sorts of other like energetic attunements and stuff. So I do a lot of energy work, formerly licensed massage therapist, and I studied something called the Gregorian method, which is joint manipulation. What else? So in the last 5 months, I've become ordained as a minister through the Universal Brotherhood movement. I have also been, I attended a workshop for something called Psych K, which is an energy psychology technique, which has been 4 weeks ago. That's been life-changing already.
So, as you mentioned, sort of like hypnosis. It's a hypnosis type of.
Yeah, it works with the subconscious mind. It's really, it's really powerful stuff.
Yeah.
What else have I done? A new energy. I have a new energetic blessing that's shown up called the White Lotus Blessing. Almost like a spiritual download. Have a couple of friends of mine that do energy work, and my Reiki master and his girlfriend, and we were talking about putting together like a retreat, like a 1 day, a 3 day.
Yep.
And so I'm, just brainstorming some stuff and distracting myself with the TV on in the background, because I find like when I drive or I distract my mind, it flows.
Yeah.
So I'm just jotting down the stuff, and I'm thinking, wouldn't it be cool to have like a new rite or a new attunement or a new energy to gift to people? And all of a sudden, it's like somebody pressed a button of this information just downloads. Wow. This is what it is. This is what it's called. This is how you do it. This is what it works with. I'm like, okay, I'm just writing all this stuff.
So that's all the stuff that you're into, and you're combining a lot of it together. Is that what you're telling? That's yours. That's yours. You're going to call it something.
So it's called the White Lotus Blessing.
That's yours.
That's mine.
Oh, cool.
So the Psych K, right? You use muscle testing,
right?
And I can like self muscle test. And essentially the basis of muscle testing is if something is positive or a yes or strong, you will test strong. Your body will test strong.
Right. Okay.
So if I say my name is Steve and I hold up my hand,
yeah,
you can't push my hand down. If I say my name is Ralph, my body cannot physically hold because it's
I've
not
dealt
true.
with that, with and very quick, because if I lose the thought, I lose the thought. I'm like, but you doing that? I went to a healer, Mr. Fitzpatrick, and he saved my wife's life at one point. He did when she was really sick. Mm-hmm. But anyway, he asked me if I should be taking this type of vitamin or whatever he had. And he said, put your arm out. Now I go, yeah. He goes, should you be taking this, right, or something? And he couldn't push my arm down.
Yep.
Is your name Ralph?
Yep.
I looked at him. He goes, you should be taking it.
Yep.
I'm going, this guy's nuts. I never seen anything like that.
Yep.
But now it's like, and it did. He saved my life, and he had me. I couldn't even move. All right, my hip was hurting so bad, and he patted me down, laid down, put his hands on my head, did some movement and stuff. He goes, you're all right now. I go, what? I get up. Now I'm moving around. I'm doing stuff. He goes, what are you doing? I go, I'm trying to find my pain.
Yeah.
He goes, you're not going to find the pain anymore. So I mean, that's what you're into. I can tell just by talking to you right there.
Yeah.
Wow. And
Yeah.
and that's a combination of a lot of stuff that you're doing. Is that what you're saying?
I do everything is a blend. It's like
It's all a blend. Yeah, life. Yeah.
It's all this. It's like all I mentioned last time. It's all ice cream. It's all different flavors.
Right.
You
right.
pick the flavors that work for you, and eventually you find like
Right. And if you put it together, you've got this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is the White Lotus blessing.
White Lotus blessing.
White Lotus blessing. So people want to read up on that or talk or hear
There's
about
nothing out there yet.
from you.
I'm still formulating it. I'm still meditating on how to share it.
All right. But you do have a YouTube channel that might come on down the road.
Yep.
that
So
you
I have a
can talk
YouTube
about it,
channel
right?
Called Medicine Heart Farm.
Medicine Heart
It's the
Farm.
only one on YouTube.
All right. Medicine Heart Farm. All right.
Yeah, and and I'm gonna start sharing some kind of introductory videos of like what is Belvesperta, what is Reiki,
Right.
you know, what do I do for certain like an energy 101, like how do you manage yourself as an empath in this crazy world,
Right.
you know,
Right. Yeah. And I understand that. I really do. It's
and kind of give people an idea of what is available to them. And I'm now also working at a counseling center in Manchester, doing energetic healings and stuff. And I just recently had a client that I used the Psyche with, and
right.
it was like, so we ran through. She comes in. So a friend of mine is a therapist there, and she's like, "I'm sending this person to you. You can help her." I'm like, "Okay." So she comes in and really beautiful, bright, cheery personality. And so I work with her with some energetic stuff, and I'm like, all right, you're going to create a ball of energy. I want you to put like love and light and just all the beautiful intentions into it. And I'm like, now I want you to give it to yourself. And she could not. She couldn't.
Well, no, when you say she
physically.
could not, I'm not understanding. What do you mean? You expected it to absorb into her
That was the
subconsciously
idea
or
going in,
consciously,
right?
Right.
She could not. So she had a subconscious belief that says she can't give to herself, or she's not worthy, or
Brought up that way.
Yeah,
That's
right.
Yeah.
So we ran through the Psyche process. I muscle tested, and then we found a statement. I think it was around it's safe. It's safe and okay to give to myself first.
Right.
So originally when we did the energy, I'm like, well, where can you send it? She's like, I can give it to my grandkids. I'm like, cool, like send it out.
Wow.
So we ran through the process, and she had like a physical shift.
Yep.
And then we ran through it again after. She tested strong. It's okay to give. And she's like, she put the energy into herself and just lit up.
Excellent.
Like,
yeah.
just
Oh,
it's
that's good.
amazing.
Wow. You don't film any of this, so it's you do film it?
No, we
you
can't.
don't- you
I can't film the Psyche.
Right.
As a Psyche facilitator, that's one of the agreements.
Right. Yeah.
Because it's definitely a process you want to learn in person.
Right.
Because if you try and pick it up from a video, you miss a lot. And
Yeah. Well, so a lot of stuff you can. I'm saying for your show, for your YouTube show and stuff, or you don't you don't do any of that for the YouTube show. It's just
so like energy work, I can do all that.
All
yeah,
that,
yeah. Specifically the Psyche, I can't show the exact protocol.
right.
But I can like bring someone on and figure out what we want to work with.
Right. Yeah.
And then go in another
right
room
there.
and do
Okay.
it, and then come back and share the results.
You said joint manipulation. Excuse me, joint manipulation. What's that all about? Because
So
it's
when
something I'm needing right now. I'm telling you.
So when I was in massage school, the school I went to had this thing called the Gregorian method. Dr. Gabrielle Gregor, she was originally from Romania. She was a neurosurgeon, and she didn't like what she was doing. Right. So she went and studied in Japan. She became a master of shiatsu and a doctor of Oriental medicine. Came to the U.S. and opened a massage school, and she created this method. And essentially what it does is you take the joints and you create traction and you manipulate the joints so it flushes the synovial fluid.
All right. In a chiropractic way, in a way you're talking.
There's so many layers to it. Like energetically, it does stuff.
Right,
Because she combined all these different shiatsu and almost chiropractic techniques and everything she had learned.
Yeah.
So she teaches this exclusively at her school. And so I studied probably an extra 250 hours outside of massage school learning this method.
Right.
And like I would have people on the table I'm manipulating, and it's amazing to watch, especially to watch her do it.
Right.
It's like watching somebody dance.
Oh,
There's
okay.
a flow
There's
to
a
it.
flow,
You have a certain music going,
energy,
and you're dancing with the body, and
yeah.
and just keeping traction and maintaining. And like I would hip pops, like really loud hip pops.
Right. Yeah.
I would have clients, like I had one client just burst out laughing. Like she just had such a major emotional release, she couldn't contain laughter,
Right.
tears, all sorts
Because
of
of
stuff.
pain probably relieving.
Yeah.
Leaving her body. Yeah.
But like they'd get on the table and their feet would be outward,
Yeah.
right? And then, when I'm done manipulating the hips, the feet are straight.
Right. Yeah.
Saint shoulders, hunchback,
Yeah.
to forward. Like it was amazing.
Yeah. Well,
It's
I've been going to chiropractors my whole life, and I'm in a brand new chiropractor now because of Taekwondo my whole life. And I'm so my shoulders hurt, my back's hurt. He's going, wow. He's going, you're slumped. And I always thought I have good posture. He goes, no, you're slumped.
Yeah.
And I work out all the time. He's going, doing too many chest exercises, and he's right.
Yep.
He's saying do more back exercises. He's saying your chest is overtaking your back, and I'm like, wow, he's right.
That's the biggest issue I would have with clients is with the shoulders is they're on the driving all day.
Yeah,
They're on the computer all day, so
Right.
the pec muscles actually shrink.
Yeah.
And they get tighter.
It pulls you down.
And
Yeah.
it
And I know I walk pretty good, but he goes, the minute you sit down, you went like this. He goes, I could see it. Right. Now that's what that's chiropractor,
Oh,
and you
yeah.
guys are all in that. You could see just by looking at your
It's
patient.
so like I'll see people walking around at work, and I'm like, they're out of alignment.
Oh my God, and young people, and I watch them the way they walk, and I'm like, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be. They should have. There's the energy's not there. The energy seems like it's off balance so much.
Yeah.
And that's what a guy like you can come in and just say.
Well,
"We-
even
we
my
gotta-"
my kids get probably way too much screen time, and they're starting to develop the.
Yep.
They call it eye neck because you're down like this all the time.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I can see that. Me and my wife, we love. I'm always on my phone looking at my kids betting on DraftKings. I'm looking at how am I doing, and all of a sudden my neck. I'm like, why is my neck hurting me?
Right.
I know why my neck's hurting me. Yeah, but that's society. How we'll all be evolving into one of these people who are necks in our bodies
Right.
now, and that's how it'll be normal, right? Because of the phones.
hopefully not.
Hopefully not. Yeah. So ordained universal. What do we got?
Universal Brotherhood Movement.
All right. What's that about?
So years and years ago, there's these people who they wanted to create a religious or spiritual organization, not really religious, where people could have their own faith, their own practice, their own church, because they weren't necessarily like in alignment with what was available to them. And so it's a nonprofit organization, and they have they can ordain people as ministers and reverends. So like I could do weddings and I could officiate weddings and all that.
Really? All right. That's nice.
For
Yeah.
me, and like also like legally, the organization will cover me for ministerial counseling and metaphysical healing, energy work. So for me, though, it was about acknowledging the work that I've done and allowing myself to have the title. I mean, 20 years of growth work. All this energy stuff. It's like, and it's time for me to start playing bigger in the world.
Book in the hand. Maybe. I think I asked you last.
You mentioned
time,
it last time, and actually, I had somebody else tell me, it's like, you should write a book about all the stuff you do.
and it's hard. But you say, oh, between the grammar and you put something together, and now they even have them on computers. You throw that in the computer, it puts it together for you.
I know, yeah.
But you can have a writer to do it for you, and you pay them, and just so that it's placed in.
I can write really well.
It's just time wise. You have children, and I know.
And it's like anything else. I know that the universe will make it available to me when it's ready.
Right.
Like I heard a psych case 6 years ago, and I'm like, I'm going to do that someday.
Yeah.
And then, a workshop showed up in Maine. I had, I had the money. I'm like, yep, it's time to go.
Right.
Yeah.
It's.
And I go to Maine for this workshop, right? Yeah. And there's a doctor of physical therapy. There's a woman that owns 3 pharmacies. There's a chiropractor. There's all sorts of amazing therapists and personal coaches.
They want that extra.
Like it was high level people,
And they want that extra knowledge. It's the knowledge that.
Yeah.
Not many people know about it. I'm into this stuff, not like you, but I'm into. My wife's into Reiki, and me in the martial arts and my grandmaster stuff, and this is all stuff I've never even heard of.
Yeah.
So imagine the regular person on the street. They're not even into, they just can't grasp.
Yeah.
So you really have to be like at a beginning stage, almost like an infant teaching to walk.
Well, that's one of the things I learned working with my Reiki master. Is like, okay, you can explain this, but how would you say it to a 6-year-old?
Right. Yeah.
You know, so I've developed the ability to kind of translate to people's level of understanding.
Right. Right. Yeah.
You know,
Because they're going to be that, they're just not going to want, they don't want to believe.
Yeah.
They're scared to believe that it's that scare. They're scared. They're saying, I don't know what I'm going to get into. And you have to make sure that you put them at ease, right?
Well, yeah, and I think there's so many, like, even societal beliefs that we automatically get programmed with, like no pain, no gain.
Oh, yeah.
You know, men don't cry, like all this, you know, vulnerability stuff. Like, and so the last since October, I've gained probably 35 pounds. I fell off my intermittent fasting. But what I had done is I embraced a process of, there's a guy named Kyle Cease. He was a comedian, and he now is like a self-help guy. And he is fully vulnerable. And what he talks about is giving yourself permission to feel your feelings, because it's your body wanting to release that energy, that trauma, that stuff. And so I embraced that process over the last 6 months to really just let myself hold space for myself and be like, if I need to cry, I'm going to cry. You know, if I'm, I mean, I'm still the guy, so
Your
I'm going to do
emotion.
it by myself.
All right,
but
your emotion.
yeah.
Your emotions. You let them out.
giving myself permission to be sad or permission to be angry, because I think we don't give ourselves permission to fully express ourselves, and that gets stuck, you know. And so for me, like, emotional eating was a big thing for a long time. So I allowed myself this process of feeling, and even allowing like the eating and stuff. Like, I'm gonna sit in this until it leaves. Right. And that process prepared me for the Psych K stuff. So all of a sudden now I've shifted. I've probably done 200 or 300 belief shifts with Psych K on myself.
And when you say that, so all right, so I'm a lay person, don't understand what you're saying. But when you do this shift, what kind of shift you talking about? So is it your belief right now, and that changes, or the way you feel about the world? Or?
So a subconscious belief I had probably my whole life, and I'm sure it stemmed from being the slow, awkward kid in soccer, right, is I'm a loser.
Yeah.
Right? And so I'm at this Psych K weekend, working with this massive individual who's a doctor of physical therapy, you know. So, and I knew I was going to work with him. So the first thing I did, I'm like, okay, I'm kind of intimidated by masculine men, right? You know, I'm more sensitive.
Right.
So I'm like, they call it a balance. When you balance, you shift a belief. I balanced around, I'm comfortable around other men. I'm comfortable around masculine men. Right. And I do the protocol and I install these beliefs.
Yeah.
And I'm working with this guy. I'm like, this is so easy. Like, he's so cool. This is awesome. Like, I felt so comfortable.
It's an energy. It's an energy he gave you. Yeah.
So then I'm working with him and we're running through the protocols, practicing. And I'm like, I'm a winner. Like, that's the belief I want to install. I tested weak for it. You know, we run through the process and I'm doing the thing. And so I'm running through the process of shifting the belief. And I felt electricity throughout my entire body. And like, I felt my body shift. And then I come out of it and we lock in the belief. And I test strong for I'm a winner, right? And he's like, so he's a physical therapist. He knows posture. He knows all that.
Right. Yeah.
He's like, Steve, your entire being shifted. He's like, I felt energy coming off you. Your posture changed. You're all of a sudden, you're upright. You're like, I'm like, yeah, that was like, it was tangible. Like, you could touch it.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And now that was by him talking to you or you revealing it yourself.
He's simply running me through the process that I learned.
But he was giving you energy.
Not even.
Or were you?
It's all within me.
Okay. So it was your energy that you were harnessing.
It's the big thing about Psych K is when you're working with somebody to balance the beliefs, it's about their empowerment.
Right. Okay.
Like when you test somebody strong or weak on something with the muscle testing, it's up to them to determine what's strong or weak for them.
Okay. Yeah.
Like I could feel the difference. Some people I work with, I can't feel the difference, but they can.
They can. Okay.
It's not about me. I'm simply I'm the facilitator.
Yeah.
You know.
Because I mean, it's almost like everyone has it in their lifetime, especially when they accomplish something, whether they won something or whether they just whatever. They get this feeling of euphoria, all right, or lightness, all right. Their life, and you want that feeling for the rest of your life, and it doesn't happen. But you're trying to strive for that. That's human nature. For that euphoria of heaven or whatever they might want to call it, and because I'm a very firm believer. Well, even I see Steve at work maybe a couple of times a month anyway, maybe more now. But I'm a firm believer of giving people a lot of my energy, my positive energy, because I want to absorb a lot of their positive energy, and it happens. People who just, you can see them in the hallways sometimes, and they're down and out, or they're just, and you try to talk to them, and you try to give them some good vibes, and within a couple of times, hey, how you doing? Now all of a sudden you're connected. You know what I'm saying?
It's about connection, yeah.
You're connected with the energy level. Like right now, you and me are talking. You're giving me tons of energy. I'm trying to throw it right back to you, and we can elate from that. We can, and that's got to be a lot of what it's all about, and it's all been here, right? And then process it through your body. I just got a compliment on that shirt. I'm a product of the '60s and '70s, and boy, I love that thing. You don't see too much of that anymore. It is coming back a little though. I'm seeing stores coming. We I consider myself not a hippie, but I love those days. Oh my God, I love those days. I know you do love those days.
Peace and love. I mean,
how can you not? And as I see you and you have the TP in your back.
I have a TP in my yard.
It brings me back. And when you pulled your jacket off, and I said, "Wow," it brings me right back to my youth. You know. And we're talking 50 years ago, 60, 50. And we're not that. I don't feel that old. Yeah. And I would imagine. And as I say, I tell you, write a book. I'd read the book. Even the stories you just told me about, 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah.
There's a chapters. You could write a book, and I bet you could write a book in a month.
So that was the thing, right? Because when I talk or when I'm ADHD, so I'm like squirrel, picking up 40 million things at once. And also because I'm so sensitive to energy, I'm like, for me to sit down and read a book, I can't do it because my brain just goes off.
I know what you're talking about.
Thousands of hours of audiobooks in my car to and from work, like that's how I do it.
Eventually they're sinking in.
So it's finally like, oh, I'm not supposed to write. Like I think about writing a book. It's like, oh no, how am I going to stay focused for that long? But it's like, it can all be short stories,
Short stories.
Because there's so many different things I've done, like to baby step up my vibration.
Right.
Because like when I first started working with my Reiki master, he talks about how I would push. I'm like, can I have Reiki? Can I do this? When can you teach me this? When can you teach me this? Like, and I've been pushing him for 8 years until he shared everything he has with me.
There you go.
There's one thing left.
Yeah.
And what I've learned through that process is like, I did Reiki 1, I did Reiki 2, starting to raise my vibration, which means stuff wants to leave my body. And that can be painful, And then we did Belvespita 1 and 2 together, and that was a huge jump. For 9 months, I was in like a dark place of just releasing.
Again, and we've already talked about Belvespita.
Belvespita,
Imagine I can't say it. What is that compared to Reiki? It's like another form of Reiki?
So Reiki is more like logical brained. It's like when I channel Reiki, my hands are warm. The energy feels warm to the touch. And it's like a very gentle energy. It's beautiful, amazing.
Right.
And it's very, I would say it's more approachable for people who want just a little bit.
Right.
The Belvespita is more like intuitive brained. And when I channel it, it's cool. It's like got a coldness to it, a purity. And it can be intense for people. But the thing about receiving any sort of energy work is like, you're only going to receive what you're open to, regardless of what's being channeled. Right. And some people like and it goes with your beliefs too. If people believe they want the big hit of energy, like I want a massive experience, they're going to get it. And whatever shows up is what's meant to happen.
Right. Yeah.
I've had Reiki 1 people blow me off the table, and I've had people that have all the certificates that I'm like, eh.
Yeah.
You can tell who's really done the inner work.
Right.
That's what it like. All the attunements, the energies, the books, the Like all of that is nothing if you don't apply it to your life.
Right.
So what I've noticed is with the Psyche, all of a sudden, all this energy and experience, it's allowed me to bring it all together and like really integrate it.
Right.
And like I was talking to my Reiki master about that, and it almost brought him to tears. He's like, it's nice to see everything for you finally.
Right.
Like I feel like a different person.
Right. And so you're at this level now, and you feel, and you're going for another level. I would imagine. I can see it in your eyes. There's another level, and there's never levels never stop until pure energy. Is that what I'm getting at? What's
In
the
this
level?
lifetime, I guess.
In this
yeah.
lifetime, yeah, because you're always, because you have to have something to look forward to. So what's your next? What do you do for your next level?
So my vision is to have a large chunk of property, 2, 3, 4, 500 acres, and create a sanctuary.
Okay.
Almost like a hippie village, but not like we're all sharing one build. I'm not interested in living in the same house with a bunch of people.
No.
But like we all have our own domiciles.
Right.
We have an event space, indoors, outdoors, to do events, to hold space for people to do workshops. I have a healing space for me to do massage, to do whatever energy work and office. Right. Grow our own food because food stuff is crazy right now. Organic food. Yeah. All my friends and community members, we're all big on clean, simple foods. Right. And knowing where all our stuff comes from, going back to nature, keeping it simple because there's too much out there. I'm finding
I know.
a lot of what I've been craving for a long time is like more time and space to just breathe.
Yeah. Yeah. That's just cool. Yeah. And that's where your energy. I mean, people between maybe a pill they want the energy or maybe I don't know. But what you're doing, that's what I'm saying. I'm seeing your book right now. I can see it. Just the very beginning stages of this is what's happening and this is what you do.
Yeah.
Because I've read a lot of books. Because at one point I was planning on doing training. They wanted me to be a trainer.
Yeah.
And you had to take psychology and medicine. And my grandmaster says, start reading books. So I started reading a couple of books, psychology and medicine. I was like, wow, how that's for your athletes.
Yeah.
I would share that with my athletes. So I can see where you're coming from. All right. With the diet. I mean, that's pure energy that's going in your body.
Oh yeah.
You have to have the energy going in your body.
Yep.
Any special diet that you're on for energy? Say you want a boost of energy.
So I've lost 70 pounds 3 times.
Yeah, right.
And so hopefully I'm on my 4th time and it'll be permanent. And what I've found is clean, simple ingredients. I avoid so glyphosate is Roundup, the pesticide. Right. And they did a study with all of the organic wines in California, and they found that they all have trace amounts of glyphosate.
Right.
And glyphosate, or however you say it.
And a lot of your fruits.
A lot of the fruits, like I've seen videos of people in other countries that sell their fruit to us that they're waxing and painting the fruit so it looks better.
Yeah, nice and shiny.
So this is why I want to have my own. I get all my seedlings started at home.
Yeah.
I tell them I love them every day because that energy creates,
Right. I read a book, Celestial Prophecy. And they did a study where they grew the same, say, corn.
Yeah.
And every day they would talk to this stalk of corn.
Yep.
And ignore the other one. And this stalk just grew and grew, and these guys just dwarfed and stayed. That's your fruit. That's your trees.
Yep.
And
Have you ever seen the study they did on water? There's I think it was a Japanese guy. I can't think of his name, but he studied what happens to water molecules when you freeze them after certain things,
right?
Certain encounters. So you tell water, I love you, thank you, and you freeze, and it's these beautiful ice crystals. And you tell this water, I hate you, you're disgusting. Right, yeah. And it's just this mishmash.
Wow.
They showed water samples from a lake where before a polluted lake, and it was like this mishmash. And then they had a monk bless the lake. and the lake, beautiful crystals. Like,
Wild.
and how much of our body is water?
Yeah.
So the
90
thoughts
90
we tell
something percent.
ourselves.
Yeah, I know. Yep.
This is.
Yeah.
So like every chance I get, tell my kids, I love you. You're awesome. You're amazing. You're handsome. You're beautiful. Installing that belief system.
Monks and they thank the food. They thank the if they're eating meat or even if they're eating a plant. Thank you for giving me your energy.
Yes.
And it's like I always that's because I got Indian blood in me also. You do too, right? And I love my Indian blood. Yep. And I'm only I think 25%, but my grandmother, great grandmother, was 100%.
Yeah.
Then it goes down because of the French traders going with the Indians. But I love the way the Indians, if they had to kill a bison or something,
they honored it.
They honored it, and they thanked the god, and then they'd eat the heart or whatever out of a ritual that was thanking, and I love that stuff. I think it's I never heard about water, but now I'm gonna start talking to my water at work.
So I watch a lot of Japanese animation.
Yeah.
And the whole Japanese culture is fascinating to me because they do gratitude and honor in everything they do.
Yeah, I know.
And even you watch these weird characters, like they go to eat their ramen at the shop, and they're like, "Oh, thank you for the food." Yeah. All of them, like that's such a part of their culture, and I started that.
And it affects you up here too.
It does.
It's gratification.
Gratitude is like
gratitude. You should, they say wake up every morning going, well, thanks.
Gratitude actually has a physiological effect on your body. It releases certain hormones. That like elevate you.
Right. Yeah. And it's all psychology, but blend the psychology in with, and it's a lot of it's ancient. Reiki's out of what is that?
Based out of Japan.
Japan,
I
Reiki, yeah.
There's
because they can come from other Oriental. I don't know if Oriental is the word I'm looking for, but old beliefs in that work. Yeah. Now shamanism, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, shaman, it's along the same line. It's along with the Native Americans. It's working with Mother Nature and what she has available to us to heal ourselves.
To heal yourself.
I guarantee everything you need to heal every illness in existence is in the rainforest somewhere. In some plant.
Right.
Even in my yard, I have all sorts of crazy stuff growing. Like I want to learn.
Right.
Right, so that's where like the technology is great because you can download an app and take a picture and it tells you what the plant is.
My wife's got, she said, I want her on the show so bad. She won't go. Her and you would have a conversation for days. But on my counter in my kitchen is like every herb and spice known to man, all for her healing.
Yeah.
She says, if you got a cold or if you have an ache here and that, she makes me a tea. Or she'll do. And I call her a witch. I said, "Oh, the witch is safe." And she thinks it's kind of funny. But I mean it only in the.
Well, that's what they were back then. They were the
right?
healers.
They were, and you burn the witch to the stake and whatever. Wow, but
that whole fear of not understanding,
That's where I'm. Even yourself, people don't understand you. And,
oh no, people think I'm weird, and I love it.
Well, I think people are scared of what they don't know, right? Yeah. And if you start, I mean, as you name stuff off, I never heard of it in my life. Yeah. It's almost like you're telling me another language. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what does that word mean? You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm into a lot of that stuff. Just being my whole life in the martial arts and trying to keep myself healthy and every day. But people who, the average Joe on the street, they're scared.
Yeah.
Oh, you're into this, and
A lot of it is by design. Like the education system in America was designed to create good, obedient workers.
It still is.
Do well on this test. You need this piece of paper to do this.
So you can make money when you grow up and get a good job.
All of my healing and spiritual education has been outside of that. I see how it's affecting my kids. Right. I'm like, don't worry about the grades. Like you're smart, you're brilliant, you're intelligent. Right. Like let's learn to love yourself. That's what matters more than anything else.
Everything else will come. And I can't say that I'm not into it. The phones and the media and stuff. Wow,
they're brilliant. They figured out how to trigger the brain.
To brainwash.
Imagine what they could do with the technology to help people.
Yeah, cancer would be gone. It would be wiped out of the. Yeah, it would be, and all these ailments, but there's no money in it.
So I've been recently listening to a lot of different stuff about cancer, and like there's a guy by the name of Bruce Lipton, and he studied genetics starting in the 1970s, and he found that your genes are expressed through your environment and your beliefs. It really doesn't have much to do with like what mom and dad pass on to you.
Right.
Like they will share genes with you, but the way you live in the world around you,
Beliefs, yeah.
is what turns the genes on or off. And he's like, there's no like one gene for cancer. You know, you have to turn on or off, you know, about 15 specific genes for cancer to grow in your body. And he's like, the studies are showing that the people that are ending up with cancer are the ones that are have a lot of anger or resentment, regret. You know, right. They're triggering those genes based on their feelings and their biology
instead of love.
And granted, there's environmental factors, the pesticides, chemicals, and you know,
that don't help.
EMFs and all that. Yeah,
we all should. The way we grew up in the society we had, and the hormones that were injected into most of your meat. I don't know how we're alive right now.
We're resilient.
I gotta feel. Yeah. I always knock on wood whenever
we're designed to survive.
I'm praying, and I'm saying, all right, what's my goal? 95, 100? No, I see 110. I see guys out there 110. I'm going, and he's still hanging in there. Hey, maybe I want to stick around and see what. Well, maybe I don't. I don't know. But
even that is like you can turn on and off those genes for long life. You know,
and they're coming up with stuff. But in the meantime, we're
well. What's amazing. And the research gets kind of squashed because you can't make money on it. But the placebo effect.
Yeah.
They did studies about Prozac, the antidepressant.
Right.
And they found that the results that people get from a sugar pill, believing that they're taking the drug, are as effective as the drug itself.
Yeah.
If we can do that with our belief, with a pill, so that's why I'm so excited for the psyche. Like I'm shifting my beliefs.
Right.
You know?
Because your mind will give you... once you is in tune, once you're in tune with your mind, and not just everything that happens. No, you can run your body in one day.
Oh, totally.
You say you ADHD or ADD, whatever you want. I know I have. I believe me, right through Catholic school.
Yep.
Boy, he's a dreamer. I can't concentrate on one thing for much longer. So what I've done my whole life is, if I want to play the guitar, if I want to play golf, I want to do you go at it.
Yeah,
and then you can that's what we're talking about for that. Well, please not to please yourself, but to give yourself some joy and energy.
Yep.
Look for the joy and energy. You don't have to stay in it, and that's all you do, because then then if you get too impassioned with it, you might not be happy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you stay on it too long, and that's it. But if you bounce around and enjoy all things with other people too.
Yeah.
With other people.
Well, the ADHD is such a gift for me because it gives me the ability to hyper focus on anything I love.
Yeah.
And I can be like, I'm fully in.
Right now.
Like I've done. I remember I had given up my apartment. I lived with my mom for about a year while my stepdad was transitioning, and when it was time for me to move into my house, when I bought my house, you know, my mom was like, I really need to get the stuff cleaned out, and so I showed up and I did it all in like a couple of hours because I had the energy, the motivation. She's like, I've never seen you move like that.
and it went like that, and you didn't even realize what was going on. It's like bang, because you're focused, and you're enjoying it. You were enjoying it.
There was definitely like a.
That's why I say, and you say you're a DJ. I gotta have music with me a lot.
Yep.
And now with the iPhones, you can always have anything you want, Pandora and stuff. And boy, does that just give you energy. And a certain song will come on that you really loved, especially when you were younger, and when something goes happen, and the energy level just shot.
Yep.
Right? And it's all up in here as you're listening. Oh, yeah. So you're just driving it through so that's what you're into. You're trying to harness it in all your little.
If I want to relax, I can use music. I can, and that's primarily why I've given up DJing, is I don't like the music anymore. It doesn't feel good.
I know. I'm not going to get into it. I know.
I'm not interested
in rock and roll, old rock and beautiful.
I don't care about driving a Bentley and picking up chicks. Like, that's not my life.
Rock and roll, old rock and roll.
Yep.
Man, I tell you, that's when we were being enlightened, and we thought it was the end. Well, they thought it was the end of the world. The society says, "Oh, look at this new generation." And they had it together.
That was back when music was still written by the artists. Yeah. Now Beyonce writes a song and it takes 47 people to write it for her, you know?
Right. I mean, and our parents said the same about our music.
Oh, yeah.
The Beatles and what kind of music you guys, and now they were soft compared to, it was a soft type of music compared to what's going on. I can't even understand some of the music today. And
you know what's funny is I listen to a lot of what I would call spiritual hippie-ish music.
Right.
Most of them are singing in Spanish or other languages. I don't understand any of it, but I love how it feels.
Yeah.
There's a part of me that understands it, but I'm whatever.
Yeah.
For me, it's all about how it feels now. Like, we spend so much time getting pushed to like paddle upstream. Like,
but also I know just getting older, and all of a sudden I'm realized the things I thought were important.
Yeah.
Why did I spend so much time on them? But you can't think that way. You got to just say that was what was going on at that time.
That was the lesson.
And something was pushing you in a direction to go whatever direction you want, whether it's here or whether what you're into at the moment, because something keeps pushing you to the next level.
Yeah.
And
I think we need that contrast of like, I've needed those dark depression places to be able to appreciate what I really have.
To appreciate. If you only won a game your whole life, you wouldn't appreciate it.
Yeah.
You've got to lose and know what the agony of losing is to appreciate the exhilarance of winning.
If it was all love and light all the time, I'd be so bored.
That's right. That's right. So, but what you can do is help people.
Yes.
And as we get older, it's like, I want them to be happy. I want them to know happiness.
That's my favorite thing. My purpose here is to
let's let the rest of the world know.
Connect with people in a way that allows them to get in touch with who they really are and let go of the stuff that's not.
Right.
That's like the healing journey for me. In the beginning was so much about give me Reiki, give me this, give me this, give me this, because I'm not enough. I need all this.
You wanted to absorb.
And now what I've learned is it's about peeling away all the stuff that's not me to uncover what's really in. Because I was always looking outside, and the answer has always been within.
Right.
That's where the truth is.
And now that you found it, wow, you know how to tap into it.
Yeah.
I found that, and with my grandchildren now, and all my grandchildren, they're so.
They know.
The
kids are the master teachers. They know how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, and then they're programmed to by other sources.
Program out of it, and then they spend their whole life getting back
trying to get back into it. But I mean, and people, I notice people. People think, "Wow, I'm not a psychiatrist," and to make a difference in someone else's world can be just, "Hi, how you doing today? Wow, you're looking good. You're working hard. Everything's good." And that 5 seconds, all right, 10 seconds of talking to someone in the hallway, and just maybe give them a compliment. They can walk away saying, "Wow, that guy. I think that guy likes it. I think that guy." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And now you give them a little elation, and you feel good too. Because now and I'm as I say, I'm a firm believer of you giving me energy. I'm gonna give it right back to you, and we're gonna fly. We're gonna fly.
Yep.
One of my best friends, Gary Pelletier, 9th degree grandmaster, we trained together for 50 years practically, and we give each other energy when we train together, and we do fighting together. We do fighting, and we could go for hours and hours. It's in the 70s. I'm pushing stuff. We still can go. Our bones and our things are breaking down.
Yeah.
We're not letting it bother us.
Yeah.
Go right through it, and that's why I think a guy in your position could help a lot of sports people, a lot of people who need to. You know what I'm saying? I'm hurting here.
Mindset. It's like it's the story of the 4-minute mile. Nobody thought you could do a mile in under 4 minutes until somebody didn't, and then all of a sudden, everyone had it's possible. And as soon as they had to believe it's possible, everyone was doing it.
Right. And that wasn't too long ago.
No.
What was that? Maybe 60s?
50s, 60s, yeah.
Yeah, because, and I'm trying to remember the name of the guy because I was running myself when I was a kid. And I remember it happening. I think it was in the 60s. And I'll find out the name of it. But that's, and
everything's like that.
If you can do it, if it can be done once, the Wright brothers.
Yep.
Yeah, gotta get that thing off the ground.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Oh wow, I guess it can get done.
Yeah.
So here we go.
Well, and that's what I'd like to use my life as an example of, because I was at a dark place for a long time. You know, I was, depressed, almost suicidal for 30 years.
Can you imagine?
Only because I really didn't know. I was stuck in this place of resistance, and resistance to the way the world around me was trying to program me to be, and that's not the truth of who I really am. So as I've uncovered and removed these layers, and like, oh, this is who I'm meant to be.
Right.
Like when I found energy work, I felt like I was home.
Right. Yeah.
And that's led me to all this stuff, the energy psychology, and like I do stuff with people that like professionals can't.
Well, because you're absorbing.
Yeah.
You found a way to absorb in a way that's passionate and you love.
Yeah.
You're not forcing yourself to do it. It's like, let it come to me.
It's all about allowing,
Allowing it to come to you, yeah. And that's what you're doing. And every time I talk to you, oh, did I tell you I'm into, I just, and I'm saying to myself, it's all connected, which it all is. I mean, we're all here in one being, but you're actually putting it together.
Yeah.
Where some people won't. Oh, I'm only doing this. I only do this. But you're taking it and you're putting it in one big, nice.
I mean, knowledge without application is useless.
Yeah. And so you're going to get back into that, the YouTube. You've already had some YouTube.
So I tried doing, because I do card readings, I do tarot readings and stuff.
Right.
And that's really big on YouTube right now.
Yeah.
And it was a chore for me to do readings every week or every month.
Right.
And I'm like, if it feels like a chore, it's not for me.
Right.
And I'm all about the path of least resistance.
Right.
And what I'm feeling right now is it's time to start sharing some stuff and being more comfortable.
And the people you know. I think about your YouTube channel, an hour show, whatever you do, the people you know, the conversations. You're having a conversation with me. I have not a clue what you do, but you got guys that you've trained with and you worked with, and people, you're instructors and masters. Imagine the conversations.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, on YouTube, so that people go, wow, I got to get into that.
Yeah, that's been one of the roadblocks for me is like, what do I talk about by myself?
Oh, you could talk for hours.
But give me somebody to work with, and I can do some amazing
But
things.
I bet you, if I walked out of the studio right now, you could talk for an hour and just go. You'd write your book.
Oh, I could share some stuff.
Of course, we can. Because of everything you're doing, you've got a lot in there, and you just got to,
Yeah. I remember probably 5 or 6 years ago, I was inspired so I wrap crystal jewelry. I got tired of carrying rocks in my pocket, so I learned how to wrap. And so I just did a video of my phone, and I was just wrapping this crystal, and I just was talking about stuff. Right. And I had a healing circle at the time in Manchester. Right. And that video that I just shared on Facebook attracted all sorts of people because I distracted my mind, and I just was talking. And I remember this woman who's a good friend of mine now. She came into my studio for the healing circle, and she was shaking. She was so ready to release.
Right.
And every time she sees me, she like thanks me for
Yep. Wow.
All I did was show up.
Yeah.
Like that's the hardest part of life is showing up for people.
That's right.
Follow the energy, whatever's meant to be.
You talk yourself out of it. No, I ain't got time. What if I do this? Then I won't be able to do that. And there's a million reasons why we don't. And I'm as good as anyone because of ADHD. I got to be there. Like I can't be there. And as you say, you gotta. And as you were talking about the crystals, you noticed what I pulled out, right? A penny. And it's funny. My father was a jokester, and my father was a crazy guy. Yep. Boy, when I die, every day you're gonna find a penny. So I'm dropping that. And as you're talking about your crystals, I just went in my pocket, and there's energy. And if I'm having a bad day, I look down and there's that penny. I'm like, thanks, Dad. I think I needed that. It's only a penny, and you know what I'm saying? But not up here, not up here in my mind.
My stepmom has the same experience with her mom. She leaves her pennies.
Yeah.
And actually, so my stepdad passed, I think before the last show I did. And so him and I are about the same size. And my mom's like, take all these shorts and stuff, these pants, whatever. Yeah. So I'm up in Maine doing my Psych K workshop, right? He was a big Bud Light guy.
Good for him.
I reach into my pocket, and there's a beer tab.
Perfect.
I'm like, he's with me. This is great. So I text my mom. I'm like, he's with me.
Imagine a beer tab, creating tons of emotions for a few people.
Yeah.
Tons of emotions. A bear tab. Think about it, and that just blows me away. And it as we say, that's just a little thing.
Yeah.
A little thing, but then all of a sudden, emotions from picking up a penny or a beer tab.
Yeah.
Your emotions can go from one here
Yeah.
to over here and feeling great.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's funny when you're open to the signs that show up.
You want the signs.
I've studied, because like the Native American ancestry, I've studied what certain animals mean.
Right. Oh yeah.
I've
for
studied
sure.
numerology and like angel numbers, 222, 333.
Yeah.
And so like I'll be thinking of something, and all of a sudden I'll see a hawk fly by, and I'll see 222. I'm like, oh, okay, it's time for this. It's great.
And the stories you could tell. I know I can tell stories on because it's an Indian thing, on the animals who cross my path.
Okay, yeah.
And the things that happen. And I just went, did that just happen?
Yeah.
Just driving on Mammoth Road at 4 a.m. when there's nothing. The animals that come out. And I'm like you. I got the radio on. I got a little cup of coffee, and my mind's. I don't even know I'm driving. I'm at work. I'm like, when did I even? How did I get here? Am I losing my mind?
Yeah.
You think sometimes, am I losing? But the animals that come by at certain times and what they do, and I went, wow, another one's going to come because they come in threes.
Yeah.
And here comes another one. Whether it's a squirrel, a possum, and I swear I've seen a wolf in Pelham. I had a whole story in that, and I won't get into it, but it's that Indian stuff. And when you see it, a little thing like that changes your whole feeling for the day. Maybe the whole day feels good.
I think too, when you're in alignment with like who you're meant to be and the path you're on, it makes it easier for that stuff to show up and be like, yep, keep going. Yeah.
And you have to know what path you want to go on. That's the tough thing.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're on the path and you go, is this the right thing?
Yeah.
And that self-doubt brings you down.
Yeah.
Right? It'll suck the energy right out of your body until the next day goes by. I go, why was I thinking like that? Something else must have hit, I grew up in a Catholic school, and I loved.
Did you get your hand smacked with a ruler by the nun?
I wish that would have been something. And boy, they had you in a ball, and this is all you could believe.
Yeah.
And you learn that you're indoctrinated, and this is all that there is. And I'm like, wow. And it's not all there is.
Yeah.
And people see that.
But I think all that stuff it's starting to open up, like the technology, the information that's available now, the way we do research is showing like it's expanding the truth.
Right.
I think it was recently the Pope came out and said, yeah, hell doesn't really exist.
Imagine.
And I think like those teachings, heaven and hell, are a state of mind.
Yeah.
Because I've lived in both in this lifetime.
Yeah, on this lifetime. Yeah. Well, we've all gone through hell one way or another.
Yeah.
Everyone has this story, and you got to be resilient, as you say.
Yeah.
And you just got to say, let's move on, and then let's move on to help others.
Yeah.
Once you want to help others, and you want to kind of give your life a little, you still have to help yourself.
Yeah.
As we talked about, doing what we're doing, and people and not even charging what we should have charged to help ourselves to keep it going. But you want to be that nice guy, and all right, I won't charge you. That's what it's all about, though, too.
So yeah, there's an exchange of energy, I think, that needs to happen.
Yeah.
That's one of the things when Reiki was founded, they learned on is the guy that founded it tried to gift it, and people didn't appreciate it.
No, they didn't.
So he's like, I have to charge for this. And then they're like, oh, this has value.
Oh, yeah, it's value. Yeah, because we're programmed like that.
Yeah. So for me, there's an energy exchange when that happens, then I know when I feel like, for me now, it's not even about that. I know that if I have a feeling to do something for somebody, I know that the energy has already either come to me or it will come to me. Like this, the exchange is always happening.
Right. And that's what I mean. Even in religions, well, I don't know what to do. Well, the Lord will show you the way. Well, that's in a way you are. It's in your hair, and I had a thought, and I just didn't want to lose it. We're into the Indian culture. I love it, and older you people are revered because of their knowledge and their experience. Not like, oh, they're old. They were revered, and people wanted their knowledge and wanted their wisdom. And that's what we need today also, that people, as you get older, show these young kids, try to help them as much as you can, and they're going through something that we never realized.
I don't even think people realize how much society's changed. 500 years ago, at 43, I would be one of the oldest people around. You wouldn't even exist.
Right. 50 years older, you're an old guy.
Yeah.
That's back in a century ago, right? Well, most of the longevity was 35, 45, 50. I mean, I guess.
Yeah.
And now I'm pushing. I want to do that 100 mark.
Yeah.
Just to say I did, Yeah. Well, again, we're slowly coming down. That was a quick hour, bud.
Yeah.
Quick hour. Like I say, I could talk to you forever.
Oh, yeah.
But people need to know where they can get in touch with Steve LeBranch. What's the best way they get in touch with Steve?
So if you look up Medicine Heart Farm on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube,
Medicine
those are my
Heart Farm.
pages. Yep.
Easy enough. Yeah.
Although I keep shifting what it's going to be, but Medicine Heart will essentially be
Right.
that's what I keep testing it. That's what tests strongest.
Okay.
And because I'm so open to like whatever's meant to show up for me.
Okay.
And I take clients at Care Counseling Center in Manchester, New Hampshire. They have an office right downtown, and if you go to carenh.com, you can book me, or you can call them and book me. You can also email me at steve@carenh.com. And that's the easiest way to get in touch with me.
What's nice about that is you say it all. You say, "Oh, people can't write it down." We have
and short.
We have technology. Just what do you say? And we go back.
Oh yeah,
you don't have to write anything down.
I
anymore.
love that.
What was that? No,
hey Google, what song is this?
Yeah, and I know that it's listening to us right now. Yeah. My phone's listening to me right now. I guarantee it. So now I'm going to get all kinds of stuff on Reiki and because I didn't shut it off. Yeah, I probably heard it as we were talking. Yeah. That was my outside door ring. It didn't sound like angel bells. Because some people here at work and they go, "It's like angel dust," and it goes ding 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 ding. And I forgot to shut my phone off. Yeah. So it's listening to everything we're talking about. But and if anyone wants to get in touch with Steve. He just said all the stuff that you could probably find him on when you watch this show. Hit reverse again, and
and I'll travel to people's homes. I'm setting up my property to host people.
Right.
I have a big garage. Eventually, is going to be turned into a healing space.
And you get the teepee in the back.
The teepee.
That's the coolest thing. Yep. Now, do you do the? And I know we already talked about this. The what do they call it with the heat inside?
Oh, the sweat lodges.
Sweat lodges.
I have not.
Never. That would drive me nuts. I don't like heat.
I've done one myself.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like heat. I get violent headaches with heat.
Yeah, and in this day and age too, like insurance stuff, like
okay, someone passes out, or
I'm like, we'll host that somewhere else when somebody else.
All right, I can understand that. Yeah, because it would, and I probably would like it just to clean, because I used to take saunas.
Well, that's the sauna. Is like fascinating. Yeah. The technology, the research coming out on saunas and cold therapy, ice baths, all that
cleans you out and gives you energy.
It's exposing your body to good stress so that the little stuff doesn't bother you anymore.
Right. Yeah, the ice baths.
Yep.
And then they got the ice chambers. Mm-hmm. They scare me.
Cryo chambers.
Yeah. I'm like, all right, no.
Even just a cold shower, I'm like, no thanks.
Yeah. I know. And but for years, my instructor told us only take cold showers, and we were hooked on it. Yeah. And the energy we got. All of a sudden,
but increases the endorphins in your body.
Yeah, he goes, "You're tired? Yeah, go and take a cold shower now." We go take a cold shower. Woof. Yep. And we're only teenagers.
Yeah,
we're going, "What's that?" It was freezing. And now as I get older, I'm like, well, you know what I do? I'll take a hot shower in the morning, and just for a second, when I shut it off, get the cold burst. And I should go farther. But I don't.
Even that little bit makes a difference.
Oh, it sure does. Because it's like, give me the towel. Oh, all right.
Yep.
Yeah. And you go from hot and cold and stuff.
Yep.
Steve, that's it, buddy.
Cool.
We're going to have to do it again, maybe another 6 months.
Sure.
All right?
I'll find some more stuff to add to my repertoire.
Oh, yeah. That won't be, but by next week we could have another show. Yeah.
Maybe by the next show I'll be levitating.
Oh, that's what I want to talk about, levitating. But we're going to do that for another show. Yeah. I'm going to write that down next show because I got some stories about that are funny. Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed the show with Steve LeBranch. And he told you where you can get in touch with him if you need to be inspired about life and get some energy. And till next time, have fun and hey, train hard also.